Hey, shalom, shalom. We start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakwadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom and to the elect, the house of David. So this lesson, quick in transit, live lesson, is going to be in response to the elder Big Bro Shaman from the main camp of Great Millstone. He just did a lesson, which I just got finished watching the lesson. It was a Tawab, Tawab meaning good, a very edifying lesson of exhortation. I just wanted to land back off of that because there's a lot of things that came to my mind as I was watching it through the spirit. And it's a very good point and a very good topic to speak on. Fuck motivation, be disciplined, because motivation comes and goes. You know, motivation is more of something that's transient. You know, motivation is something, well, I could be motivated today and not tomorrow. You know, that's why people will ask, well, what is your motivation? So at the end of the day, okay, I'll give you an example. If you're motivated to accomplish a particular goal, right? You have the motivation, but what happens when you accomplish the goal? Well, then the motivation, because it was based off a certain goal, then the motivation will slip away. But discipline, no matter what you accomplish or the things that you do, you may have hit a certain goal, but discipline is going to have you continuously being on the same type of regimen. And when you look into the word diligent, it means to do something continuously and carefully. So that ties right in with being disciplined. Did not Yahweh Shai have disciples? And what did he exhort them to do? To feed his sheep. You see? Feed his sheep. All right. He told the apostle Peter to feed his sheep 3 times. Okay. So that's all a part of what? Us being disciplined. Okay. Because you can be motivated, but the motivation may fade away. And what's going to keep you through the ebbs and flows and through the ups and downs is that discipline. You see? And especially when it comes to this truth and applying it into business, you know, which there's a lot of comparisons between a successful business and this truth. Okay. And if you have a successful business, it's based off of discipline. A lot of these guys that are millionaires, and I'm not saying to, you know, to be like them or to anything like that, because they're into the world. But at the end of the day, there is things to be taken from the way that they live their lives. A lot of them have a regimen where they wake up at a certain time, you know, and a lot of them have certain things that whether they made all this money or whether they didn't, they were going to still be doing these things, right? Whether it be working out, whether it be your diet, whether it be the way that you conduct yourself with women. That's a huge part of discipline as well. Sexual discipline, you know, and it's things we all got to work on, you know, when it comes to discipline. But then there's, you know, there's aspects of discipline and how it can benefit you. If you're disciplined, you're not just going to lay with any woman because you know that that's not the wise decision to make. That's not the prudent decision to make, because prudence deals with what? Having foresight. Okay. But that is, and another thing that the elder brother mentioned was intellectual humility, which is basically going into an engagement of, you know, let's say a debate or something like that, and considering that you may be wrong. All right, even let's say you have a conversation or you have counsel with a brother about something, you go into it with the consideration that I could be wrong about what I was about to do or how I'm looking at the situation, that I could be wrong about it. And that's a great thing, that's a great characteristic to possess, intellectual humility. You know, but the scriptures continuously mentions to be disciplined. All right, the scriptures mention that the sluggard would not plow because of the cold, and therefore he will beg when it comes time to harvest. We're roughly paraphrasing that from the book of Proverbs. So if you're a disciplined man, you're not going to, you know, whatever the external circumstances are, you're going to be the same disciplined man. Your life could be falling apart, but you're going to still hold the discipline, being responsible. All of these things ties into it. So, like the scriptures mentioned, the sluggard not wanting to plow because of the cold. Well, he was based off of motivation. He wasn't based off of discipline, because it's easy to be motivated when the weather's nice and everything's nice, and you could apply that to us going out and teaching. Be instant in season and out of season. That's all part of being disciplined, man. Because if you're based off motivation and you're not based off discipline, well, if your motivation changes or you have a day where you're not so motivated, you don't feel like doing it, and hey, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't times where it's time to go to camp and it's like 30 degrees and you like, man, but because the Lord put a spirit of discipline in us, we're like, all right, well, this is just what I have to do. It's not a matter of if I will or, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's just, this is what I have to do. And that's all a big part of being a man as well. Women tend to be up and down and emotional, and that's why they're not meant to be the head of the house. We are put in that position because we can look past emotions and we can just make the decision that needs to be made and do the things that needs to be done for the household to run properly. You see? So we wake up on Saturday, yeah, it's cold, yeah, the weather's fucked up, yeah, I don't feel like it, man, I didn't get enough sleep. Whatever it is, if the Lord got a spirit of discipline on us, we're gonna get our ass up and do what we gotta do. Okay, and outside of just the camp, getting doing these lessons, man. All right, getting on here and putting up these edifying lessons, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay, there's times where brothers don't necessarily, you don't know what type of day a brother been having off behind the camera, but you're not going to be able to tell because that's the spirit of discipline. Doesn't matter what I'm going through, work needs to be done. Well, I don't feel like it. That's why a lot of these guys, they fell out the truth because they didn't have that spirit of discipline. Once their motivation got swept away by something could have happened, whatever it was, they had an emotional response to something an elder or apostle or brother might have said. They didn't have the spirit of discipline to say, you know what, maybe I don't understand that now, or maybe that's just how that man, maybe that's that man's perspective, right? He's entitled to his perspective as a man, but you're not going to throw away the whole truth because you got in your feelings about something an elder or an apostle said. You got to be your own man in this thing, man. We got to be our own men in this thing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem Wadash. So at the end of the day, you can't say, well, oh yeah, well, something this brother said affected me, and what am I going to do? I'm going to fall out now. Because that's not a spirit of discipline. You see? So discipline is going to have you, no matter what the circumstance is, you're going to go and do what needs to be done. And that's why a lot of these niggas in the street, Jake, they can't keep a job because they don't have no discipline because they were raised by the so-called black woman. And the so-called black woman, she doesn't have any discipline. That's why they be having all these baby daddy drama situations, even applying it to our women. I got women in my family that got multiple baby fathers. Their life is just a mess. All right. So it goes in Southern and the Northern Kingdom. But why? Because they didn't have no discipline in life. Maybe I shouldn't be with this man. He's a piece of shit. He's a drug dealer. There's no future with him. Nope. You were doing what you felt like in the moment. All right. So you were motivated. You were motivated in the wrong way. But discipline will have you making the wise, prudent decision. All right, well, you know what? Yeah, I can't really hang brothers because I got to do this and that. Yeah, I'm going to call it in early, brothers. I'm not going to drink myself under the table every chance I get. You're going to have your times where you drink. You may even have your times where you overdo it a little bit, but discipline will have you, all right, let me pull myself, the Lord will pull you back in, and that's the spirit of discipline. Because sometimes you will get off the path a little bit, And we all make our mistakes. We have our shortcomings, but discipline will have you. All right, let me snap back into reality. Let me get back with my rhythm, because discipline is also a rhythm thing, because you're gonna have your time, your downtime too. You're not gonna be some super disciplined soldier 24/7, but there is gonna be those times. You're gonna have you have to have a regular set of things that you do. Okay. And that's all tied in with discipline, whether it be, all right, I'm gonna wake up at this time because I gotta work, and it all ties into one another. A lot of it has to do with the financial situation. That is tied to discipline. You see, a lot of business owners, they suffered for years and years and years, and just took big losses, went through different ups and downs and different situations, and ultimately they ended up winning after they were tried for a certain period of time. And that was why? Because of discipline. All right. And that's how it is with this truth, the discipline of this truth. Well, the scripture says that to roughly paraphrasing, I believe it's in the Apocrypha that mentions to get under the yoke, wisdom likened unto fetters, and a yoke of iron. Yeah, so we're prisoners to Yahweh Shai. So and that's that wisdom from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the spirit, the Rakak Wadash. So with that, those fetters on us, we can't just do everything that the world does. Wisdom, the scripture says, wisdom will meet you at every thought. So there's certain things that other people will do, and you're going to go the other way. That's discipline. It takes a certain level of discipline just to be in this truth, period. But then there's levels to, like when we first came in, I can say for myself, I was very undisciplined. Certain things I was like, okay, I had certain strengths, certain weaknesses, but overall I was very undisciplined. And one of the greatest things, characteristics that I got from being in this truth, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, pulling me into this thing and learning from the apostles, learning from the elders, learning from the brothers, all right, was the sincerity and the discipline that they have, and the consistency of how they're out there all the time. And there was a period of time where the apostles they were going to the camp, and they were also doing an in-transit lesson on the way to camp. You see, and still doing live shows throughout the week, damn near every day. So that's all tied in with that discipline, and that was one of the biggest takeaways from this truth, man. One of the biggest takeaways from this truth was how to become more disciplined, how to become more stable. You see? And then when we're disciplined in this truth, we're going to be disciplined in all other aspects of life: your health, your diet, the people that you surround yourself with, the women that you're around, the way that you conduct yourself with your family. And people know, and sometimes in order to be disciplined, you got to be an asshole, man. You got to be willing to say no to certain situations. Like, nah, can't be open to every damn thing, Nah, that ain't for me. That ain't gonna roll with mine. And that's why these women, they like these loose niggas that they don't have any discipline, and they can just shit on them and treat them like little children. But a real man who's disciplined is not gonna take your shit. A real man that's disciplined is going to say, well, this is the order. This is how I roll. And this is what I do in my life. And you're going to have to work around what I got going on, because I'm a man at the end of the day. You want to be a part of my life, then you got to work around what I got going on. And that's all a part of discipline, because a man that's not disciplined, all right, a man that has the spirit of a simp, he's just going to bend and fold and, to the will and the whims of his woman. And women they're never going to respect that, Whereas the man that's actually disciplined, and the more time goes on, these women are realizing, you don't have to get too off topic, but it is part of the topic anyways. But these women are realizing that the lie of feminism has caught them in a trap, and it hasn't benefited them. You see? So what's becoming more valuable? Men of value. And men of value are men of discipline. And that's the type of thing that a woman will see and actually be attracted to, because it's like, damn, like there's an element of mystery about you, because you have so much things going, you have so much going on in your own life, to where you're not all up in her shit and what she has going on. You know, you'll see her when you see her. You know, you might see her, you know, maybe once or a couple times a month. You know, could be more frequent, but overall, you got so many things going on. You're not every day, I got to see you, baby. Nah, you ain't doing that. I mean, look at King David. King David had all these wives. You think with all of the responsibilities he had of being the ruler of the kingdom, that he was just all with his wives all the time? No. I'm sure he had his time to spend with them, but there was other things that had to go on. There was wars, there was issues, there was this, there was that, you know? And then there was times where he was with his wives. But the point being that the discipline of Yahweh Shem Yahushua had him focus on his mission, all right, which was to serve the Lord and to take care of his nation, all right, which is the nation of Israel, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. So, you know, the scriptures goes into discipline frequently, and discipline is a very important thing. Excuse me, is a very important thing for us to implement into our lives, especially the more time we're in this truth. And it's all a process, you know, like I was saying. When I first came into truth, I was very undisciplined, and the order that this truth brings to your life is a major blessing, man. All right, because you cut off all the fat and all the unnecessary shit, and you just like, all right, keep it simple. And what's the bare bones necessities of what do I need to do as a man? The main thing is to serve the Lord. All right, so the pieces of my life has to fit around my job of serving the Lord. What's going to make it easier for me to serve the Lord? Well, if I apply discipline to the rest of my life and to the things that I have going on. And then once that clicked, then, you know, other opportunities, things just was manifesting through the spirit of poverty, how about Shem Shai. And that's how you realize, like, discipline allows you, you know, if done right, it does allow you more time of leisure and more time. When you do have time, you're doing things that you love to do. You see, like, if I wasn't disciplined right now and I was getting into this lane, this dude would have tried to, this dude wouldn't let me pass, but was trying to go to the red light, go to the back of somebody else's car. So I was patient, and I just looked at him, and I motioned for myself to go, and he realized that, you know, I wasn't trying to cut him off. I'm just trying to get into the turn lane. Anyways, you know, discipline, applying it to every aspect of life is very beneficial, and it leads to a much more peaceful life, man. You know, even in this truth, we're going to catch our hell, we're going to do this, but a lot of times we bring our own hell upon ourselves. You know, I realize in this thing. And then the Lord, you know, he chastises us, and the things that we go through, a lot of time is of our own creation. And if we apply discipline, we could avoid a lot of pitfalls. You know, so I'm exhorting myself and brothers out there. I'm going to go ahead and close it out right here. Lord's will, this is an edifying lesson. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akak Dash. And hey, Lord's will, I'll catch you on the next one. Shalom.